For the gong heard round the world.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is not a drill.
All-natural being. Warning, all-natural being with Brian Brawdy is designed to shake your sense of self to the core.
It's full contact psychology with an empowering twist, a philosophical loofah for your soul.
For those of you not ready or comfortable releasing your inner superhuman, listener discretion is advised.
Here's your host,
Brian Brawdy.
Good evening once again and welcome. Let's just check and see what this means very quickly. All right. Well, there's something up with the internet this evening, right? Like that should shock all of us. But apparently there's something up with the internet. Either, I don't know if it's the storms or where I am or where you are, but we're having a little bit of difficulty getting the signal in and out. So just bear with me if you would for 1 second, because that's going to get old. I can tell you that much right away. Oh, okay. So let's just do this. Let's just stick with what we got, and what we got is what we got. All right. Thank you. Wherever you are, wherever this is making it out to, thank you so much for stopping by what is now the 419th episode. Boy, I'm digging that. Let me see if I can change this even. Okay, the 419th episode of the #1 rated show here on IPMNation.com. Of course, we're talking about all natural being with Brian Brawdy. So here's what we're going to do. Just quickly, we're going to go ahead. We're going to exit out of all things, and we're going to restart this, I think, here for just a second. Let me see, because I can't even, it says that we're live. So, okay, we're live. All right, well, here we go then. We might as well just stick with it, even though it is not giving us the ability to change a camera. Wayne, just so you know, let's try this. All right, please stand by. You gotta love this. All right, you know what? Here's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna climb out of that. We're gonna go over here, and we're gonna quit. Well, good evening, Henry. Nice to see you. Thank you so very much. Thank you very much for joining us as we figure this out, as we ramp this back up. Oh, no. Everything says, oh, don't worry about it. It's good. Everything's great. And then you see that this thing is not working the way we would normally want. So let's just do this real quick. Da-da, da-da, da-da-da. Let's try that. We're going to force quit that. And for the folks listening, all right, let's see if that worked it for us. Thank you, everyone, for putting up with that little bit. The broadcast is not operating. All right, so for some reason, we are going to be unable. Stop broadcasting. Stop. You know already what's going on. We'll see if we get that in. But we put a post up earlier over on Facebook, and what we would do was talking about, hello, Wayne, you're on the radio.
Hey, shut down Periscope.
You're not broadcasting right now, are you? Yes, I am.
Oh.
Okay, that's why I said we're on radio. So you want me to shut down Periscope and the output and I don't know if I can do it in the middle, but
You can do it now.
okay, sounds good. All right, well, we'll see if we made it out to Facebook. All right, thank you, Wayne, from Central Control. All right. So what we're talking about, good evening. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for putting up with all the little shenanigans here as we're trying to get this going. But to Lee, thank you. Kathy, thank you. Henry, nice to see you. Thank you so much for hanging out, putting up with some of the hiccups. Henry, you remember these hiccups well. Alice, thank you so very much for joining us. Wayne is also watching, as I'm sure he is. Thank you so very much again for hanging out with us. So let's get right to it, since we've done a really great job of making sure we're already out of time this evening. Trying to catch up. Heather, thank you for stopping by. John, thank you for stopping by as well. What I wanted to kind of kick around this evening is as we're getting ready to move to the morning show, and we talk about that quite a bit of late, we wanted to have something where people get to kind of like get it off their chest, kind of vent a little, kind of get it out the door. And I've been thinking a lot lately about this watering down. David Ray Bowman says shenanigans. Yes, in fact, there are, brother. I don't know if it's the weather, if it's not the weather, whatever it is, but we'll get on top of it, I'm sure. Wayne and the crack staff back at Counterpunch Media Studios. Boo, boo, morning shows. Thank you, David. I know. I know how you feel, brother. But here's the thing. We wanted to structure one, and I was talking to David about this the other day. We wanted to structure one. One, that's how I got my start, right? Big deal. That's how I'm doing what I'm doing, was talking about being able to jumpstart your brain every day, right? If we got to the point where we said, okay, let's just get up, let's head into the backwaters of our brain, and let's work out everything we have to. Kathy, hello, nice to see you as well. Let's work out everything we have to do so that you and I can jumpstart our day and do it in a way that we know that we're ultimately going to win. That's what I wanted to do. So a part of this, and I've been thinking, as I've said, I've talked to some good friends about it as well. A part of that is that, it's very Pollyanna to say, you know how I believe about, Mother Nature, she loves you. No, she doesn't. She's gunning for you at every turn, right? There's a difference between Wordsworth, come forth into the light of things and let nature be your teacher. Well, nature's a heck of a teacher, let me tell you that. But one of the things, I am sorry, but I missed you in the morning. Well, Ryan, thank you very much. We're going to be coming back to mornings March 4th. So thank you for remembering us and mentioning it here in the thread. I super appreciate it. One of the things that we wanted to talk about was that, we can keep going on with I don't like the word optimistic. I don't like the word, as you know, motivational. I don't like all this other mashugana that goes around your all-natural being. Just be you. Flex your best. No matter what your critics say, right? That's what we have in the tagline, crush your can't and your critics while you're at it, right? Flex your best, bring your own bold with no apologies, no excuses, no postponing of living this life. But then, as you look at the events and everything going on, people say, artificial intelligence, that's going to be really tough for human beings in the future. Well, tonight I wanted to maybe just kick around, and don't forget, I'd go ahead and post it up, but apparently our feed does not allow me now to switch back and forth between cameras. So let's just do this. 833-646-3877. 833-MINDUPS, MINDUPS, if you want to give us a call, want to give us a text. What we're talking about tonight, what if it isn't SI? Or what if it isn't AI, artificial intelligence? What if it's SI, not Sports Illustrated? I know you're thinking, right? SI, Sports Illustrated. But what if it's socialist intelligence? What if everything we see going on, and I think a lot about if you spend any time in the wilderness, it's been in the news lately where someone was attacked by a mountain lion. I think it was out in Colorado, a trail runner out in Colorado. Someone was attacked by a mountain lion, and people go, if you're attacked by a wild animal, you're supposed to play dead, right? Well, if you spend any time in the wilderness, you spend any time hiking with grizzly bears, you realize that playing dead is a good idea. It really is, I know, right? But playing dead is a good idea if it's a female grizzly bear with cubs. Because what you want to do is convince the mom and the cubs that you're no threat to them. So you want to ball up and play dead, and they'll just, once they know you're not a threat, they're going to smack you around a little bit, gnaw on you a little bit, and then, let you go. But it's not the same with male grizzly bears, and it's most certainly not the same with mountain lions. If you try to play dead during a mountain lion attack, it will eat you alive. You have to fight back with everything in you. Thank you, Wayne, very much for throwing that up in the thread. Wayne says you can call or text 833-646-3877. Thank you very much for that. But if you're confronted by a mountain lion, you better fight for your life because that's what you're doing. So I've started to think about a lot of these things. People say, "Oh, just let whatever's going on in the universe happen." But what if you and I have the ability to stand up for something? What if you and I say, "Yeah, but you know what? If we roll over and play dead, socialism's going to treat us like a mountain lion on a wooded path." Right? It's not going to work out very well if we just roll over and play dead and go, "Oh, that'll never happen in this country. That'll never happen here. No way we'll get have our freedoms restricted. No way government will let that happen. No way, no way, no way." But then you realize, in some of the conversations I've had with people of late, they're like, "Well, I'd like free college. I'd like free childcare. I'd like free health care." And the billions and billions just total up into the trillions and trillions. But when you think about it, in this form of the government that we have, you get a majority of the people going, "Yeah, I'd love some free stuff." They can vote in anyone into office. So if you and I decide that what's important for our kids, what's important for our later years, but most notably, what's important for our kids, what's important for our grandkids, do we want them subject? Just look into history or look around everything that's happened when it comes to a socialistic bent. You look at everything that happens. Do we want to subject our kids and our grandkids to that? Because whether you think it's sustainable or not sustainable, and I'd love to kick it around the night, is socialism a greater fear, socialistic intelligence? Is that a greater fear than artificial intelligence? Or are you worried not so much the leftists are going to take over, but you think the robots are going to take over? Kathy, thank you for joining us this evening, putting up with all the hiccups in the very beginning. We're sorry about that. But thank you very much for joining us. So that's what I wanted to kick around. Is that we can talk all the time about bring your own bold. We can talk all the time about, you're in a rut. We've got a ramp to get you out of that. We can talk about your all natural being, all the brilliance and beauty of human potential. But if it's being squelched, if not squashed, at the very least squelched at a government level, at a societal level, at any level, then to me, it just doesn't seem to be all that helpful. So if I stand here, whether it's in the mornings or in the evenings, and I go on and on about your all-natural being, I tell people to mortal up, I talk about your natural resources. Kathy says, teach your children to love one another, service to others. Kathy, that's very interesting. I put up a post just the other day. It's that life isn't about what you get out of it. Life is about what you put into it, what you give back to it is what life is all about. So I see exactly what you're saying. But I could stand up here all the time and go, all natural being, bring your own bold, cut and shuffle that fate deals you on a daily basis, blah, 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 blah. But if you and I are trying to exercise that all natural being, exercise that free will, exercise the very best that we have, if we really are trying to flex our best, but we're in a society or a structure, you want to call it government, call it whatever you want, but if we're in a structure where everything you do is to get you into one war or another, a race war, a sex war, a drug war, a this war or that war. If everything you do is to get you pitted against your neighbor, if everything that you're subject to in the media, in the social media, the press, anything you want to call it, if everything you do is subject to trying to pull the very fabric of the community apart, what good is it really talking about all natural being? What good is it talking about mortaling up? What good is it talking about your natural resources if you're going to be attacked for using them? So I thought in the morning show, maybe we have a little something, maybe a segment like we used to do, Ryan, if you remember, and anyone that's joined me back when we were doing mornings, if you remember, Lowlife's Making Headlines. That was a really popular segment. That was a good one. Maybe what we'll do in the morning show is just so I can get it off my chest. If other people want to get it off their chest as well. If other people are like, yeah, I'd like to just clean that off my plate so that I can jumpstart my day. Maybe Lowlife Making Headlines, there's plenty of it going on in the media now, but maybe that's what we'll do. We'll have a Lowlife's Making Headlines segment so it allows me to get it off my chest, right? Maybe for the people that call in or text in or join us here in the thread. people can get it off their chest. And then when we can get started, minus all that baggage, minus all of the, my good friend Henry Noel used to call it a rucksack full of, right? Just a rucksack full of angst. If we can get rid of all that, if we can jettison all that, then maybe we're ready to jumpstart our day and really get going. So the more I think about it, the more, and my good friend David Ray Bowman said to me yesterday, you just have to realize what you're doing the show for. Before I get into that, Heather says, when you volunteer your own time and love, that is what makes me feel the best. Very cool, Heather. I am told to do it. It doesn't feel the same thing. Do things out of love and care. It makes a difference. Heather, I absolutely agree. So when you talk about do things out of love and care, it makes all of a difference. Then I think for me, Heather, to be honest, that's the perfect segue into why. What I want to accomplish in the morning shows, right? And my good friend David said to me yesterday, he goes, you just got to know why you're doing what you're doing. And ultimately, I kind of dig it. I dig the writing. I dig the preparation every day. I dig that kind of thing. As Wayne says in the feed again, you can call or text 833-646-3877. 833-646-3877. Of course, that's 833-MIND-UPS. Give us a holler. We would love to hear what you think. But in getting back to what Heather said, what David reminded me, what Wayne reminded me, was that you got to do it because you really feel like you're making a difference. You got to do it because it's something that's important to you. And something that's important to me is making sure that I don't ask my kids and my grandkids to pick a fight, right? Or at least to finish fighting my battles. And maybe, just maybe, in 2019, they say the state of America in 2019, how much all-natural being can we really have if we all of a sudden fall for anyone making an accusation, hoax or otherwise, anyone making an accusation, and people are ready to go to guns about it. People are ready to go to war about it. Heather says, I think the morning show does so much more for all of us because we can carry it with us all day. That's what I'm hoping, Heather, is the things that we'll talk about, the things that we'll do, the segments, the interaction with the guests, and we're going to build it. We'll probably start our first week of morning shows just to make sure, you know what I mean, just to test the waters. We'll start a half hour, then we'll go to an hour, and then depending upon what exactly is going to go down, we're talking about segments within the show that could take the show to 2 hours and even 3 hours. But ultimately, the show is about what do you want the future to look like for your retirement? What do you want the future to look like for your kids and your grandkids? And maybe if we start spreading the message that, yeah, if you're in the wild and you're confronted by an animal, just lie there and play dead. Great advice 10% of the time. Other 90% of the time, it'll get you eaten like a mountain lion pulled up at a drive-through window, right? You talk about fast food. Mountain lions would love it if you don't fight back, right? Ask the one that was just killed in Colorado when the runner decided to fight back. But maybe that's the state. Maybe that's where we are right now. We have to stand up for what it means to be free. We have to stand up for a sense of liberty. We have to stand up for our all-natural being. We have to stand up for what the future is going to look like for our kids and our grandkids. I think ultimately that's the message. And then once we're all on the same page, we can go, hey, all-natural being. Like Heather says, the morning show will do a lot of good for hopefully a lot of folks because we can carry it with us all day long. But we can't carry it with us. I say jokingly that I have a brain tumor, a chip on my shoulder, and a face for radio. I think that's the bio over at Twitter. But what if we could get rid of the chip every day and start putting that behind us, putting it in the rearview mirror, and going, all right, great. What am I going to do today to put my heart's highest priority top of the list? Knowing full well that when you do that, you're giving permission to people around you to put their heart's highest priority top of the list. No two ways about it. So maybe that's what the morning show can be. A little bit of venting, and then a whole lot of what it's going to take, what we can talk about to be able to thrive through that day. So we'll be going Monday through Friday. At the very beginning, we'll be going 6:30 to 7, and then quite very soon, and quite possibly 7 to 7:30. And then depending upon the response and how we think it's going to go, then we'll probably add hour 2 and hour 3 to get us ramped up finally to a 3-hour morning show. And relying on people here in the feed, relying on your text, your emails, your tweets, and your suggestions as to the different topics that we can talk about in that right? In that morning show. So I said yesterday, one of the ones that we got in that and I don't remember if I wrote this or we got it in, but the sworn enemy of your snooze alarm. I really like that one, right? Another one. What do you think when I say morning radio? Well, yeah, this ain't that. No, I don't want it to be like a normal morning radio. I want it to be the sworn enemy of your snooze alarm. Not just the snooze alarm that you hit an alarm on the nightstand alongside of your bed, but your snooze alarm in life. That sense of procrastination. And maybe, to Heather's point, it's a little more. I'm looking forward to this being a little more helpful, not just for everyone hanging out with me, but for me myself, given the brain tumor, given all the surgeries, given all the complications. Maybe I was just hitting the snooze button all along. So not only the alarm clock on your nightstand, but maybe in life itself. Maybe each morning we can go, look, do I really want to hit the snooze alarm again today? Or will this be the day that I flex my best? Will this be the day that I put my heart's highest priority top of the list? End of discussion. End of debate. Is this going to be the day? Right? If I have to talk about what it takes to access the parts of the real me, of the true me, of the authentic me. Not just saying, oh, I'm going to be authentic. What specifically does that mean? And that's what I hope All Natural Being will be when we go back to a morning show. Is that thing where you go, oh yeah, I got to roll out of bed, I got to take a shower, grab a cup of coffee, right? And even if you listen to us as you're on your way out the door, we're working. Thank you, Heather, very much. I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. Even if you get out the door, we're working, Alex and Eric, we were talking about it today, working really hard on getting the app up and going. So we'll be doing that to where there's just an app. All you got to do is hit a little play button and you'll be able to take us out the door. So we really can be your virtual hitchhiker. In any event, that's what I hope the morning show grows into as we go back. And as I said at the beginning of the show, if you weren't with us, I got my start doing mornings. Matter of fact, I was talking 400 and now some odd episodes ago. I talked to Matt Connerton right after Jenny and I had discussed what it would take to come on. And I remember saying I would like the worst time slot possible. And he said, why would you want the worst time slot possible? And I go, well, because I want to get to number one, and it won't be fair. If you give me the best time spot and I make it to number one, people will go, well, of course he made it to number one. You gave him the best time slot. You cherry-picked his time slot for him. So he said to me, no, the worst, absolute worst time slot is first thing in the mornings, drive time, and it was like 6 to 7 a.m. Central Time. But I knew if I did a show that stuck to doing nothing more than calling out individuals' true potential, their ability not to be watered down, not to be sucked in by a Venus flytrap, not to be grabbed by these walking, talking pits of human quicksand that are the critics or that are the naysayers in your life. I was absolutely confident that if we did a show that highlighted the very best in human beings, that highlighted that out of chaos we can craft something truly creative, I knew that show would go to number one. And in fact, in a very short period of time, it did. And I believe it was for that reason, because it was a show about you. It was a show about your potential. It was a show about your grit and your gray matter and everything that you could do to bring your own bold. So in that regard, it's about me. It's going to be nice to go on back to mornings, because I always felt like if people could, right, if you could have a little bit of interior design for your mind before you got out the door, your day would be, let's put it this way, your day would stand a much greater chance of you putting your heart's highest priority top of the list. And people say, oh, well, we wake up in a rut, or we wake up and we're kind of bummed, or we wake up and we're kind of down. But I wanted to have a show that really would jumpstart people's belief in themselves once again, because that's, I think, how we're going to guarantee not only my retirement, but the future for my kids and one day my grandkids, right? That's how all of us are going to be able to guarantee that future, is reminding people of the very best in them. Not this political correct crap, not all these other things going on that, oh, well, we need PC, or we need to coddle this person or that person. But what it really means to bring your own bold, what it means to bring your all-natural being, to confront fate right in the instant when it attempts to chop block you and go, look, you better victimize somebody else, because I'm just not going to take your crap any longer. So I guess we could have made the tagline crush your can't, your critics, and your crap. Well, maybe that's it. Heather says, true story, change your mind first thing. Thank you very much, Heather, my friend. I super appreciate it. Thank you for all the support and all the mentions here. In the feed. I really super appreciate it. All right, we're going to go ahead and get out of here and try to figure out what went with the feed earlier this evening. But thank you so very much. If you're listening on the radio side, thank you for putting up with those few little hiccups. If you're watching here on Facebook, who knows if you're watching on Twitter or YouTube, but thank you for putting up with all that. And until I see you tomorrow, remember, bring your own bowl. The universe will recognize that you're doing it. Your own heart will recognize that you're doing it. And then you're really on your way. All right, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you so very much. We will see you back here tomorrow. Oh, 4:20 on a Wednesday. Tomorrow night, looking forward to hanging with you. Have an absolutely fantastic evening.